what I'm really best at is showing people how to get 0% cards on the business side. And like the other day, I just got someone approved for $150,000
What?
at Chase through these 0% cards for 12 months.
Wow.
And to do $150,000 just at Chase on the 0% business card is the best you can possibly do, because they lend up to $150,000 with no income verification. We did this with no tax returns, no bank statements.
Just good credit.
Just good credit and a good relationship with the bank and understanding how exactly to apply for this card.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Reports. Today we are live in the studio here in downtown San Diego, and a little bit different type of recording for us. We normally record here every Wednesday afternoon, but today's Monday, and we got a 2-day quarterly meeting with the team. I got my business coach, Rick English, in town, but I had to make an exception for my guy here. I got the king of debt. He's one of my good friends. I got my man, Jack McCall. Jack, welcome back to the show for the second time.
What's good, Rich? It's so good to be here. Appreciate you having me on for the second time. First round was a great episode for sure, and it's so good to be back. So thank you.
It ripped, dude. You were like the number 2 downloaded episode on like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, like right behind Grant Cardone.
Yeah, that means a lot.
And
that
that's
means
a hell
lot.
of a list.
We have a great host, so I appreciate you.
Dude, I appreciate you, man. So, you've been in San Diego for a while. We've become close friends since our last podcast, and we were chatting the other day. I'm like, fuck, you're leaving, man. You're going down to South America. I'm like, we got to get you on the show before you bounce. But dude, tell me about the trip. Where are you going, man?
Yeah, so it's going to be a 5-week trip. One, moving out of San Diego, and it's going to be a 5-week trip. It's going to start in Buenos Aires and then go into the Patagonia. That's going to be a fishing trip. And so this really is kind of like a big life skill building trip. So the first little portion is going to be fishing, going to learn how to fly fish, do some other cool fishing and hiking stuff in the Patagonia. And then from there, we're going to go to Colombia. There's this great lake in Colombia. We're going to kiteboard. And I do a little bit of kiteboarding, but I'm trying to get my brother into it. So we'll get a little bit better at the kiteboarding. And then make our way over to Caracas, Venezuela, and do some skydiving over the beautiful islands there. And I've been to Caracas twice before to train in the indoor skydive tunnel, and I've been training for this event essentially. So we're going to skydive over these just beautiful islands.
Dude, a couple things there. One, like I've always wanted to go to Patagonia. I was down in Buenos Aires, Argentina this past winter, so I got to go back and do a Patagonia trip. I've heard amazing things, but dude, a couple things, man. Like. I love Colombia. I've only been to Medellin, but it's one of my favorite cities in the world. And I've always wanted to kite surf. I grew up sailing. I used to be a sailing instructor. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I've always wanted to kite surf. I grew up skateboarding and snowboarding. So I've always been kind of intrigued by it. So it's one of those things that maybe I have to maybe take some lessons and see if I like it.
Yeah, no, it's not that hard. I think day 2, I was ripping it pretty good.
Yeah.
Day 1, you have to learn how to do the kite on the beach, and then you take it to the water, and like you can pick it up pretty well. And like for me, I was always big into skydiving and surfing. And then when it got too windy, it would kind of blow out the conditions. So that's when I was like, oh, let me take advantage of the wind. So that's how I got into kiteboarding.
Yeah. So dude, Caracas, I mean, a lot of people don't go to Venezuela, especially like today, right? A lot of their economy is a little bit tough. A lot of people are fleeing Venezuela. So like, when you go to Colombia, you see a lot of Venezuelans over in Colombia right now. Economy is not doing so great, but it's considered dangerous and rough. So tell me a little bit about Venezuela and why Venezuela.
Yeah, so Venezuela for skydiving specifically is an incredible place because the indoor wind tunnel, that sport or that training is super expensive in general. Like in the States, it's $1,000 an hour without the coaching. And down there, it's only $300 an hour. And you want to get like 10 hours in a week of training. So it's at a 70% discount. And some of the best skydive coaches in the world live down there or spend a significant portion of time down there. And so you get trained by some of the best skydivers in the world. And so that's one reason why I'm down there, or I go down there. I've been twice so far, and the beautiful islands to skydive over. But in terms of the danger, it is relatively a dangerous place. But the thing is, it's so divided. The wealth gap is like, so if you're on the right side, if you're in the right areas, it's super nice. Like I went to the Salvaje restaurant, just incredible restaurant. And it was actually such a special experience because we were in the Salvaje restaurant, and it felt like I was in Miami. It was
really?
like
Dude, I love that.
American classic music. Everyone's having a great time. It was just incredible. And I'm thinking like, I'm an American in Venezuela out of any place, and they're listening to American classical music with dancers and performers, and everyone's having a great time. And so that was a special experience. But, it is so divided. You just need to make sure you're in the right areas with the right people. And for us, it was that. It was very good.
So I think like most cities, like there's going to be good areas and there's going to be bad areas. And like you just mentioned about Venezuela, it's funny, like everywhere I've traveled, especially cities that are considered like quote unquote dangerous by the eyes of most Americans, and most people will actually never visit those countries. Like for example, I was down in Rio de Janeiro, right? And people consider it a little dangerous, gotta be a little careful. But I was in a good area, and I'm always respectful when I travel. I never like mouth off to people, and I'm very respectful to all the locals, and so I never have issues, right? And so that was my takeaway going to Rio de Janeiro. Colombia, like Medellin used to be the murder capital of the world like 30 years ago. And I ripped it there for like 30 days, man. I never once had any issues at all. The locals are so respectful, so humble, and so friendly. And so I think my big takeaway when I travel to these new cities is like, yeah, like, okay, like every area is going to have rough areas, but as long as you're respectful and you stay in good neighborhoods, dude, like you're going to be fine. Now, I think it's different if you're like a single woman traveling. Okay, like you got to be a little bit more careful versus like us men. But outside of that, dude, it's like the benefits of traveling and the takeaways and the perspectives that you get out of life when you go are like life changing. So you mentioned Venezuela, dude. Like I want to go now. I didn't know it was a vibe like that. I didn't know that it had nightlife and all that sort of stuff and culture. I do know Venezuelans are really friendly, like the ones that I've met in Colombia. So maybe I'll come down and visit you for a weekend, bro.
Yeah, no, it's a really good time. I highly recommend it. And I love South America in general because it is on the US North American time zone. So it's not a huge hit to work. If you go to Europe for a month, it's pretty hard to adjust to those time zones, or like Bali or Southeast Asia. So the time zones are great. Cost of living or just costs in general are, very inexpensive. So it's a good time.
Dude, one thing I find unique and very interesting about yourself is you like to travel all over the world. And you've been to all these cool places, and like your trips are all epic, and you're like doing extreme sports. You're like snowboarding like in the Swiss Alps, and then you're like skydiving, jumping out of airplanes in South America, and you're doing the kite surfing. And so I find it unique that you do all these like badass trips, dude. Like, have you always like just had an itch for that growing up?
I kind of have, yeah. I kind of have. Like, I was skateboarding growing up, making skateboard videos. In college, I was competing at a professional level, making some money doing that. And I always loved
Really?
having
And skating?
in snowboarding.
And
Did I say,
snowboarding?
yeah,
Oh,
I
I
meant
didn't know that. That's
snowboarding if
dope,
I said
dude.
skating. But I do think it's very important to have a hobby or a sport to consistently do, because it pushes you mentally. And once you like put in hard work and reach some level of improvement, that's contagious. And then you can roll that over to business. And so I think it's very important for people to have hobbies or things they focus on outside of business, like fitness, yes, business, yes, but also like a sport or a hobby keeps you stimulated. And then also a note on the travel. I love traveling, and I think it's such a good time to test your system of your
Mm,
business. You test your team, you test your system, you see what holes it has, and then you come back and then you fix those things.
that's so good.
And I always have a trip planned or somewhere I want to go. And I work so hard up until that trip. And then I still work on the trips, but it forces me to test my systems. And it's a good thing, I think.
It's funny because last time you were in Venezuela, I believe you were doing some skydiving down there like a couple months ago, and I saw like on your Instagram story that you said like, man, like traveling, internationally, when you have the right systems and the right technology, makes it really easy to run your business. And you mentioned a couple like items that you like in terms of tech, and like one of them was Slack, and there was like a couple other ones that you
Yeah.
used. It was like a CRM. Which one was that?
Yeah, so we use Close, the CRM Close.io. GHL is another one. Go High Level is another one people use a lot. But Close, you can customize so much. And then you use Zapier to make certain automations happen, like certain text to fire, certain notifications to happen. Slack, like certain notifications to be triggered in Slack to notify specific team members to do specific things. So it's incredible. The combination of Slack, Zapier, and our CRM Close is just incredible.
Give me a couple examples of like what you can do with Close.
So, I mean, basically, once someone comes into our system, and then there's a specific zap that fires in the Slack channel, then our specific team member knows to look at their credit profile and then send them the instructions on how to optimize their credit profile.
Gotcha.
Or when invoices are paid, like basically, there's a trigger for everything, and so it's all automated. It's all a big system. And then at first, I was doing all of these things myself. I was wearing all the different hats. I think you have to do that at first as a leader, but you soon have to document all of your creative thoughts onto a document, onto an SOP. And so you can soon after train and delegate things to other people so they can operate like you would. And I'm very proud of this, but one of our team members who manages the optimization of our program that helps people optimize their credit profiles, she's better at the system that I made than I am because she's only focused on that. Where me, I'm focused on 20, 30, 40 different things every single day. I hire her and she trains that one thing and now she's better at it.
Dude, I love that, man.
Yeah. And so one thing is like, you have to remind yourself to make scalable decisions on a daily basis. Like I could have been in there doing customer service for 6 months or even up to this day, but no, I'm going to do it for a few months and then slowly just document my thought process onto an SOP. And it's hard to train people because on creative things, because there's so many variables that go into making a specific decision. So the SOP, that standard operating procedure, has to factor in all these different variables. And that's a very hard thing to do, but I highly recommend to push yourself and make these SOPs and delegate things like pretty as soon as possible.
Yeah, I love that, man. So speaking of credit profile, I saw you recently joined the 800 Club. That's 800 plus credit score and 800 plus testosterone level. How long ago did you get on the testosterone, man?
So I'm not on TRT. I'm not on testosterone. I'm
Naturally.
very naturally.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, that's even more
naturally.
impressive.
And so, I do a lot of research. I've been studying supplements and health and biohacking for many, many years. And, I got my blood test for the first time 2 or 3 years ago, and I was at a 530. I
Okay.
was like, dang, that's pretty low. And so I really tried to figure out, how to increase this naturally. And I was testing a variety of different supplements, natural supplements. I'm in the gym pushing heavy weights and things like that, and optimizing my sleep, optimizing my diet. But yeah, I'm at a 866 testosterone
That's impressive.
total level, and then also an 840 credit score. So that was the joke I made on my Instagram story about the 800 Club, as
I
you're
love it, man.
referencing.
Yeah. I think for a lot of guys out there, that should be something that you strive for. The 800 Club, we might have to like trademark this. Are we like making it a thing right now? The
I
800
think we
Club
are.
for
Yeah,
men?
it's the 800, and it's both. It's the credit score and the total testosterone level. And I think a couple of things for me that was a major difference is, and I study all the top anti-ager biohacker people and figure out what is best for me. And I'll blood test myself every 3 months to see how things are fluctuating. So I'm able to just measure everything. But a couple of supplements that really helped me was DHEA, only 25 milligrams.
What's that?
It's just it's a precursor to testosterone.
Okay.
Your body produces it naturally, but you give it yourself a little bit more.
Is it just a supplement orally?
It's a supplement, yeah.
Okay.
DHEA, 25 milligrams a day.
I'll have to check that one out.
Fidosia agrestis and Tonkat Ali. Would be
Really?
the three that I personally take.
And it's
that
all
has done
oral?
good things. All oral, yeah, just small
Okay.
supplements. I think before going on TRT, I would suggest, I mean, I'm no professional, but I would look into doing it naturally first.
Yeah, I agree, man. I know it's something that's in the cards for me. Like, in my later years, I was thinking, maybe in my 40s.
Start on
but
my regimen first.
yeah,
I'll
I
hook
want
you
I
up.
want to start with that because right now I'm just taking protein and creatine, and lifting weights, and obviously that helps lifting heavy weights.
Yeah.
But I would love to check out some of the supplements that you're taking because the one thing that doesn't turn me on about the test is like, you got to inject yourself a
stuck on
couple
it.
times a week. Like I had the founder of SD Botox on last week, and one of his like businesses is testosterone. And he's like, dude, like, you got to do it twice a week because otherwise you'll have these big spikes. And so I'm like, dude, I don't know if I want to be getting my blood work every month. And I want to do like injecting myself twice a week, but orally, that's a lot easier. And so why not maximize that first, like you mentioned?
Okay. Yeah.
What-
No,
what are your
I'll hook
thoughts?
you up. I think for sure try it naturally. For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you get on TRT, you're kind of stuck on it for life,
Mm,
to my knowledge.
right. That's what everyone says. They're like, once you start, you're not going to stop. And that's why I've been a little hesitant. I know it will be in my cards down the road, but for now, dude, I feel pretty good. I do need to get my testosterone levels tested. I don't know what it is, but
Oh, you
I
haven't?
do know that
Oh,
I
that's
no
step
idea.
one.
I do know that I
Oh,
have good energy and like,
okay,
everything's
good.
pretty good, but I do notice like I got to lift a lot. I got to train a lot more than most people to get results.
Okay.
So
Maybe
maybe
it's low
that's
T.
maybe
So
that's a testament of
first
it,
step is test your blood, test your
Mhm.
testosterone, and you can easily do it. If you go to labcorp.com
Okay.
or just Quest Diagnostics, it's usually like $100 test, $99. It tests your total testosterone and your free testosterone. You want to do
What's the
both
difference?
because total is like, I believe it's how much you have access to, and then the free testosterone, I believe, is how much you're actually like utilizing of it. And so you want to look at both, because if you have a ton of total, but your free is lower than it should, that means like you have it there, you're just not being efficient with it, to
Mm,
my knowledge.
okay.
And so you want to test both.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Hey guys, we just got another boutique hotel under contract in my hometown of San Clemente, California, located not too far from the beach. This will make 5 boutique hotels in our real estate investment fund. So if you are looking for passive income and tax benefits, visit summerscapital.com/invest to book a free call with my team. Again, that's summerscapital.com/invest to book a free call with my team. Now back to the show.
Speaking of like lifting weights, man, we had a good lift at the compound a couple months back, and you showed me we did a chest and tri day. It was me, you, and Austin, I believe. And you showed me this like tricep, like kind of burnout workout at the end. And dude, I every time I do chest and tris, I actually hit that workout a lot. Dude, it's amazing. It just like kills your tris, dude.
Good to hear, man. Dude,
Yeah.
I think it's so important for people to stay in incredible shape. Like the confidence, at least the confidence that I get of looking at myself in the mirror with no shirt is it feels really good. And I know I'm stronger. I know I look better, and that confidence carries into other things. And so I think for people that are maybe overweight and they're struggling in business, okay, first get your health in check, and then you'll probably see better results in business. I'm a strong believer in that. And I think you should really prioritize your health.
Yeah, I agree, man. Weightlifting for me does so many things in terms of confidence, my posture. I just feel better, and like you said, it translates over to everything in life. It's not just business. It's like sports. It's dating. It's like family, friends. It's like literally everything. It goes full circle, gives you more energy, and I'm addicted to it, man.
Yeah, that's the foundation. And you judge people, and people judge you based on the way you look in the first couple
impression.
seconds. And it's
Yeah.
like, if you're overweight, people are seeing that. And like, if you want to look good.
Yeah, and also like if you're trying to grow your business, get clients and investors, people, if you're out of shape and you're not taking care of your body, like investors are going to see that, and they're going to be like, okay, well, if you can't take care of your body, how are you really taking care of your business?
Yeah, if you're cutting corners on your health, you're probably cutting corners in
Mm.
your business, and I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, that's good. So speaking of trips and all that sort of thing, man, I saw you recently took a really badass trip. What is it? I got to ask you, what is it like taking a shower on an airplane?
Yeah, I mean, taking a shower on an airplane is a next level experience. I mean, not only are you in first class, you have a nice lay down seat with caviar and champagne and all the good stuff on a 10-hour flight, for example, but you get the opportunity to go shower. And there's only 2 airlines that offer this service, and that's Emirates first class and Etihad first class as well.
Where's Etihad out of?
Etihad they're both Middle Eastern airlines.
And
Yeah.
what kind of plane is this?
So it's the A380.
A380. Okay,
The
double decker,
Emirates
right?
has the A380, and Etihad also has an A380. Other airlines have the A380, but those are the only 2 airlines that have the shower on the plane.
Got it.
One thing to note is so let me compare the Etihad first class experience and the Emirates first class experience.
Yeah, let's
so
hear it.
there's 3 main components. So there's the seat, there's the lounge area, and then there's the shower. So on the Etihad, it has the shower, but it's a smaller bathroom. Where the Emirates, the bathroom is like huge. The floors are heated. It's incredible. The Etihad one is a little bit smaller bathroom area, but it still has the shower.
And you get your own private bathroom?
Not private. You have to schedule it, and I recommend if you get on, schedule it. Schedule your time first.
Okay.
Not like first out
'Cause
of
it will
anyone,
fill
but
up.
like schedule when you want.
When's the best time to
first.
take a shower on a flight?
I like to do it like an hour and a half, 2 hours before landing.
Okay, so that way you get off the
Yeah,
plane, you're
but
ready
if
to
everyone
rock.
else books it, you might have to shower like first, and you're like, I don't really want to shower yet. So schedule it first with the flight attendant. So that's first. So Emirates does have the larger bathroom shower experience, better experience. The next thing is the seat, and so the Emirates first class seat is incredible. Like it's so amazing and comfortable. When you look at the Etihad first class experience, it's called the apartment. It's like double the amount of space. You have a couch and you have a huge boss chair that's like bigger than this. It was
Wow.
actually like disrespectfully big because I couldn't even put both my elbows on each side and hold my phone. And so it was like honestly like a little too big,
Wow.
but it was just so big and so incredible. And me and my friend Cody ripped it together. So he had one right across from me. And so I would come over, sit on his couch, hang out with him. He would come over to my apartment, hang out. It was an incredible experience.
Dude,
And
that's so cool.
So the seat itself and the food probably similar. I don't actually remember the difference, but the seat itself, the Etihad had the much grander experience. And then the next thing I'll break down is the lounge. And so Emirates is known to have the first class, or actually business class too, but the bar. And so you can go back there. There's a full-on bar. There's like lounge seating, which is really cool and much more space.
And like a legit bartender and all that?
Legit bartender. I remember when I
That's
did
so
it
cool.
from, I think it was from like the Maldives to Dubai or something, somewhere out of Dubai. But I grabbed one of the bottles of Dom Perignon, and she let me pop it, and like it's sprayed, and like the cork,
Popping bottles on the plane?
the cork hit the ceiling. It was hilarious.
Love it.
But The Etihad lounge it's like a circular lounge. It only fits like 6 people sitting and a couple people standing. So it's a smaller, more intimate lounge. Still great. Like other airlines don't have this type of lounge where you can just go hang out with other people. But the Emirates first class and business class had the bar, which is a little bit more superior. All in all, I had a better experience on the Etihad first class apartments.
Interesting. So the Etihad flight, where did you fly from?
That was from London Heathrow to Abu Dhabi,
Got
which
it.
is right next to Dubai.
Is that where their hub is for this airline? Abu Dhabi?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
It's some Middle Eastern country.
Yeah.
But it was incredible. And I did it for only 62,000 American airline miles.
Okay.
60,000.
And what does that translate over to in terms of spend?
In terms of like a 1-to-1 ratio on the points,
Yeah.
it's like worth $600 of points.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I guess my question is, what does that seat go for, like retail?
Between $5,000 and $10,000.
Damn, that's
Yeah,
not a bad
it's
deal.
incredible.
Right
And
there.
I only use my points for these epic redemptions. Like
Yeah.
I have a lot of points, and if I'm not getting at least 3 to 5x on a return on my points, I'm not spending them. And so what I mean by that, if you have 100,000 points in the Chase portal on a 1-to-1 ratio, like 1 cent per point, that's worth about $1,000. I'm looking to get like $3,000 to $5,000 in value or more. And so you can only do this when you transfer your points from the bank portal to the airlines or to the hotels.
Mm.
And so that's where you get the good deals. When you're using it in the portal on Chase or American Express, you're at a fixed valuation of your points. And so you can use different softwares and tools and newsletters to help you find these good deals. And so one I'll give to the viewers is called Straight to the Points. So if you sign up for a Straight to the Points newsletter, they send you a newsletter every week basically. And it's like, this route is open for these specific dates. And if you have Chase or Capital One miles, perfect. You can transfer them to this airline and get this epic deal. Instead of paying $10,000, you're going to pay 70,000 points.
Dude, I'm gonna have to take a trip out to like Abu Dhabi so I can try out this apartment on a plane, and I wanna take a shower on an airplane. I got to make it happen. So I got a bunch of points with Amex Gold, Amex Platinum. We use both of those here within our business, and so I have a year and a half of like cumulative points. I don't know how many, but it's a lot, and I haven't spent any of them. And so I'm gonna have to figure out how to convert these and try to get a 4 or 5x lever and get myself an apartment on an airplane so I could take a shower in the sky.
Yeah, so that's one route right there because it's only on 2 different routes. It's from London to Abu Dhabi or JFK to Abu Dhabi. So those 2 routes. So you let me know and I'll help you book it.
Yeah, okay.
It's incredible.
I'll definitely keep you posted. Yeah. And then maybe I'll use some points to get down to Venezuela. Unfortunately, going to Venezuela, there's probably not a lot of direct flights. You probably have to connect
That's
somewhere
a tough one. That's a
Mexico
tough one.
City probably connects.
It's a tough one. We're doing from Bogota in. That's a tough one. But I'm doing it from Bogota in on Avianca for like 5,000 miles, basically free. And while we're on the topic of miles and everything like that, it's very important for people to accumulate points at banks that have transferable bank points. And so what that means is points that you can transfer from the bank to different airlines. And so here's an example of a bank that does not have this. So US Bank, when you have US Bank points or Bank of America, they're stuck in the portal. You're fixed at a 1-to-1 ratio. You can't move them to an airline. And so there's been 4 banks that have these transferable bank points, and now there's a 5th, which is a really big deal. And so it's Chase, American Express, Citi, and Capital One. And so in addition to just getting American Express points, it would be a good idea to actually diversify the amount of points, not the amount, but what kind of points you have, because certain bank points can go to certain airlines. And so it's good to have a mix of those types of points.
Is Amex transferable?
Yes.
It is.
So Amex, Chase, Citi, Capital One.
Okay.
Yeah. US
good to
Bank and
know.
Bank of America are not. But Wells Fargo now has transferable bank points where you can transfer them from Wells Fargo to different airlines. And it's pretty good partners too. It's KLM, Air France, Iberia, British Airways, Avianca, and there's Aer Lingus as well. So it's a really big deal.
Aer
And
Lingus
actually-
is out of Ireland, right?
It is. It is. And Wells Fargo just came out with a brand new personal credit card. It's called the Autograph Journey. This is a brand new travel personal credit card. It's incredible. I just got it. And I'm really excited about it because it comes with a 60,000 point sign-up bonus once you spend a few grand in the first few months. And then you can transfer those points to different airlines and get epic good deals. And in terms of the points that this card gives you when you spend, it gives you 5x points at hotels and 4x at airlines.
That's
And
huge.
it is huge, and it's even bigger because you don't have to book it through the portal. Like when you use the Amex Platinum, it gives you 5x points on hotels and hotels and airlines, but you have to book through the Amex portal, which is sometimes limited. With this card, the Autograph Journey, you can use your card directly with Marriott, directly with Hilton, and you get the 5x. Where if you did that with the Amex card directly with the hotel, you'd only get 1.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So with this Autograph Journey card, what typically do you need to qualify for that?
720 is best. Really a 700 and above, but I always recommend a 720 plus before doing credit applications.
Yeah. And then what kind of is 0% intro?
I actually don't know. It probably not is. I don't care about 0% personal cards at all because I always advocate people to keep your balances low. What I'm really best at is showing people how to get 0% cards on the business side. And like the other day, I just got someone approved for $150,000
What?
at Chase through these 0% cards for 12 months.
Wow.
And to do $150,000 just at Chase on the 0% business card is the best you can possibly do because they lend up to $150,000 with no income verification. We did this with no tax returns, no bank statements,
Just good credit.
just good credit and a good relationship with the bank and understanding how exactly to apply for this card through a relationship manager, understanding what information to include on the application. But to do $150,000 between 2 applications is the best you can possibly do.
I got a question. So when you apply for business credit, at least when I've done it in the past, they ask me like what the business is. I don't remember if they ask for an EIN number or not. Do they?
They do.
They do. And then they ask you like, oh, what type of like line of business is this? Is there a specific line of business that is going to be more conducive with max getting a higher credit line?
Yes, for sure.
What do they want?
You're referring to the NAICS code. So this is the
Okay.
industry standard code that classifies the risk of your business. And so you want to look at your business and ask yourself, what does the business do? And then how can I tailor it to a little bit of a lower risk code? And so, for example, if you're a real estate investor, but part of your business is property management, you would want to go with the property management NAICS code. If you're a wholesaler, you probably want to lean into marketing because that's what wholesaling is. You're marketing, you're finding deals, you're finding leads, things like that. So you want to ask yourself, how can you lean into a lower risk narrative for that business type? And there's 3 places where this needs to be accurate. The most important place is on your business checking accounts. And so if you already opened a business checking account for this business and you don't remember the code that you used, you probably don't, because when you go in there, they ask, what does your business do? They're asking you that so they can put a code on for you.
Mhm.
And so you want to be proactive and understand what code they're going to put on your bank account, and you can always change that. Second place is on Dun & Bradstreet, which is a business credit bureau. And so that's really easy. Just log on and then edit your code. And then third is on the Secretary of State. So you just do a business search for your business on the Secretary of State. And it's not always there, but sometimes it says business description or nature of business. You just want that all to line up. That can be an easy difference between a $75,000 card and a $10,000 card, just with that code. So it's really important.
Yeah, no, that is good. I know when I applied for the Amex Gold and the Amex Business Platinum, I had already been with Amex for a personal card for like 10 years. So I already had that kind of history with them. So they gave me the 2 cards, no limit, which was kind of nice. It was like instant approval. But with Wells Fargo, I don't have any like history with them. So if I wanted to go get this Autograph Journey, which it sounds like kind of a conducive card, it's kind of sexy. I kind of want to pick it up. I'm going to have to get these codes down, it sounds like, huh?
Yeah, for sure. So the Wells Fargo card, that's a personal card.
Okay.
So you won't have
it's
to.
a personal.
Yeah, it's a personal card.
Oh.
So you won't have to do anything with the EIN or the NACS
Got it.
code. But it is a great personal card.
Gotcha.
And there's another reason why I love that card, and I'll talk about real quick. So when you're optimizing a credit profile, it's much more than just a score. Like you need to optimize all the things that the underwriters are looking for. And one of the main things they're looking for is what is your collective personal credit limits? If you add up all your personal credit limits, what does that amount come to? And I've seen the best business funding results if you have collectively $40,000 to $80,000 of personal credit limits on primary credit cards. Not from authorized users, but from primary credit cards.
Say that one more time. You take the cumulative, all the average of all your business credit.
You want to add up your personal credit limits
Okay.
on primary accounts. If you have
Not business.
Not business.
Okay.
If you have $40,000 to $80,000 of credit limit on primary personal credit cards, you will do way more on business funding than if you had way less than that on the collective limits.
Got it. Do they look at like, did the underwriters look at other things like maybe like real estate mortgages under your personal credit and maybe like, higher like car loans under your personal mortgage with history?
That will increase your debt to income ratio, but it also can make your profile look much stronger. And so they will look at what income, or basically look at the income stated on the application and look at your monthly debt payments and kind of figure the debt to income ratio out. So to an extent, it could benefit your credit, but once you get too much, it's going to affect your debt to income ratio.
Hey guys, real quick, I just wanted to personally thank you for listening to this podcast. It means the world to me. The only way this show grows is by word of mouth. If there's anyone in your circle that could benefit from this podcast, it would mean the world to me if you could share it with them via text or maybe on your Instagram story. And I'll be sure to keep an eye out on my Instagram for shares so I can reshare you on my Instagram story. Again, thank you so much for listening, and it means the world to me. Now back to the show.
I got a question for you. So yesterday, a few of the team members and myself were out. Actually, Preston and Austin were out. We went out with my buddy who's a yacht broker, and we ripped around the bay for like a few hours. And it was a really cool 38-foot boat, black on black, brand new. And he's like, dude, you can pick this up for like as little as like 10% down. But I'm like, okay, the rates are kind of high. I kind of want to buy it. I kind of want to buy it. I'm like, I had no intention, and I went on the boat. I'm like, this is pretty sick, dude.
Yeah.
This thing goes like, we were doing like a smooth 65 yesterday in the bay. Freaking so smooth, dude. He's like, get out to Catalina in like just over an hour. I'm like, that's freaking sick. So I'm like, no intention, but I go out in the water. I wake up this morning. I'm like, I kind of want to buy that boat. I hit up Wayne. I'm like, dude, I kind of want to buy it. But anyways, that said, he's like, you can get in for as little as 10% down. And it's going to cost a couple $1,000 a month to like just, slip fee and storage and all that. But I'm like, dude, I can kind of use it to like grow the business. We can do like, I can take clients out, investors, and like do some pretty badass stuff out in there in the water. And then from a marketing standpoint, like on social and all that thing, I think that I could use it to make more money, right? And that's how I try to rationalize these types of things, so I can use it as an asset. Now, here's my question for you. So the interest rate environment right now is really expensive. Is there a creative way that I can maybe use business lines of credit, 0%, to borrow for maybe a year to get into this thing for a very low cost of capital?
So with business credit cards, a lot of them come at 0% interest for 9 to 18 months. And for a lot of people that I help, I'm able to get between $50,000 and $200,000 of 0% interest capital for that introductory period. After that period, then it goes up to the normal 20% or more credit card interest. And so if that would help during that first year, then the answer is yes. When we look at business lines of credit, those come with interest when you use the capital, and they come at about 10 to 15%. And so for someone that wants, for example, $500,000 in funding, you first want to get the 0% cards and ideally get 100 to 200 grand of the 0%. And then you have to get the remaining few hundred grand on business lines of credit. But because those come with interest, that's probably more expensive than the loan you would get on the boat.
The blended rate would be a lot more expensive. That makes sense, because I don't know what it is. I'll talk shop with the loan mortgage broker, but they're the boat mortgage broker, if you would. But I would imagine it's probably closer to 7.5%. But refi in a year when the rates go back down, who knows?
Not bad. Yeah, I do that.
Yeah,
that sounds better.
So we'll see. But go ahead.
And really, when people come to me and I help them get access to capital, you really want a clear return of the money back on the card. And so like using 0% business credit cards is perfect for people who do fix and flips, because you can often do 2, maybe 3 flips in a 12, 18-month period. So you get the 50 grand, 100 grand credit card, you get the cash off the card, not through cash advance. There's alternative strategies on how to do that. Then you use the money for your deal, and then you can pay off the card, and then rinse and repeat. So you want a clear line of how it's getting paid off.
100%, man. And I feel like as a real estate investor, we're like, that's what we do. We're just moving money around. Sometimes I'll go broke, like buying real estate. And then like these deals will start to blossom. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a cash out refi on this one. I'm going to sell this one and take some chips off the table. And then all of a sudden I'm liquid. And then I'm like, oh,
broke again.
Buying more stuff, I'm broke again. But they say
that's the game.
They say that it's one of the best ways to be broke is to go broke investing in real estate. So, but it's funny. But yeah, you're right. I think you always got to have a clear path. I mean, same thing when we do these like bridge loans to buy the real estate, like it's not cheap. And so we got to have a clear path to be able to pay these lenders back so we can get out of these bridge loans. So it's the kind of same thing. So question for you though. So Amex Platinum, Amex Business, we do use both of them as I mentioned here. What are some of the perks in terms of like points, benefits, pros and cons of both these cards?
The Amex Gold and the Business Gold is a way better card, at least for accumulating points. The only reason I have the Amex Business Platinum is for the lounge access.
Yeah, dude, the gold you can't get into the lounges.
It's true.
Yeah.
So that's the
funny
only
'cause-
reason I have it. So it
It's
comes
funny
with
because
a,
like Andrea and a couple of other girls on the property management side, they use the gold, right? And on the Summers Capital side, on the investing side, we use the platinum. Well, the platinum gets in the lounges, so Andrea doesn't have the platinum. And so last time she took a team trip for like work, she's like, Rich, give me the platinum. So I got her the platinum. We're talking about Andrea. Alex is over there laughing. But anyways, she's like, give me the platinum. So we got her a Summers Capital card as well so she can get into the lounges.
the Business Platinum or the Platinum from American Express. It does give the lounge access to Centurion lounges, which are really good lounges. The annual fee $700, but it does come with a pretty incredible statement credits. So you can actually break even on the annual fee just by using the statement credits. For example, like $10 a month for Uber, $200 every 6 months at Dell. Like there's statement
I
credits.
didn't even know
like
there's
that.
statement credits.
Yeah. So look into it if you want to save a little bit of money. But you can break even on the annual fee if you use those credits. But you kind of have to try. You have to pay attention and use it. So it might not be worth it, but have someone else look into it for you. Because you can get like, use the money at Dell and shit like that. So I break even on the credits and then I get the lounge access for free. So for me, it's great. But in terms of accumulating points, I always use the Amex Business Gold or the personal gold, depending on what I'm spending the money on. For dining, you get 4x points per dollar spent on the Business Gold. If you go to dinner and use your Platinum, you're getting 1 point per dollar spent. So a lot of people think they're cool paying for dinner on their Platinum. It's pretty much the worst card to use unless it was, comparing to the debit card, it's a little bit better, but you're getting 1 point per dollar spent on the Platinum. So you want to get the Business Gold for dining, and most businesses has a large expense on dining. And so that's why you want the Business Gold, because you get 4x points on dining. Advertising as well,
we got to
4x.
switch it up because like right now the Summers Capital card is the platinum. And so like tonight we're doing a team dinner, right?
Oh,
and
gold.
So,
Business Gold.
In the past, we put all those team dinners on the platinum because that's Summers Capital, and the gold is property management. So from an accounting perspective, we just keep all the property management stuff, the vendors, the housekeepers, all that sort of stuff that we got to buy, the materials, the supplies, the soap, the shampoo, all that on the gold. But maybe we got to switch it up a little bit.
Or just get both.
Get both.
Get both. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a small annual fee on the gold, $300.
Yeah.
Not mega small, but it's small relative to $700. I would do both. If you want to accumulate points most effectively and then have those points for free travel, definitely have both.
So if someone's like a new business owner out there, maybe listening to this podcast, would you suggest to go the Amex Business Gold or Platinum, or would you suggest a different card?
So I would always look at where you spend your money. And also like what the strategy is. Is your strategy just to get 0% funding for your business and for your deals? Because a lot of the 0% cards don't really come with good
Perks.
to generate points. Some do have decent ones, but it's kind of like, okay, I'm getting this card for the points or I'm getting this card for the 0%. So it's kind of two different strategies.
Let's say it's for the points.
Okay, so for the points, I would look at where does your business spend money on? Is it electronics? Is it dining? Is it advertising? Is it travel, right? Look at those categories. And if it's dining is a number one expense, then absolutely get the Business Gold. You get 4x points per dollar spent. If you don't have that gold, you're leaving points and leaving money on the table, essentially. Travel, okay? There's cards that give you 3x points per dollar spent on travel, like the Chase Business Inc. Preferred. So I'd get that one if you spend a lot of money on travel. One thing with the Platinum, American Express Business Platinum, I'll mention, is if you spend money, if you swipe your card in the Amex portal, as I briefly mentioned, you get 5x points per dollar spent, but it has to be through the portal. Sometimes the options are limited, but that is a good way to get points on travel if it's through the Amex portal.
Now, what if I just want the fastest path to be able to get points to take a shower in the sky?
So that is a harder question because to book that route, the Etihad first class apartment, you pretty much need American Airline miles. And
Really?
the American Airline miles,
specific miles?
yeah, because they're in the same alliance.
Oh.
And that's how you get the good deal. You can book it on other points where you transfer from Amex to Etihad, and then it's not as good of a deal though. So you want American Airline miles for that specific route. And the thing with American Airlines is they have an exclusive partnership with Built, the Built program.
Not the Built company, the clothing brand.
Not the Built company.
But the Built platform.
Yeah, so there's a credit card. It's called the Built credit card. I talked about this on the last episode. You can pay your rent on this Built credit card. It's issued by Wells Fargo, but you get Built points. And you can pay your rent with no credit card fee because it looks like it's coming from a bank account. And then you generate Built points. And also when you refer people to the Built card, you get other Built points as well. So you can transfer Built points to American Airlines. That promo is ending, or that partnership is ending in a couple months, unfortunately. But that was
Why is
pretty
it
much,
ending?
I don't know why it's ending, but that was the only way to transfer points into American Airlines. Bilt just made a partnership with Alaska Airlines, which is also a big deal because similar to,
Aren't they in alliance with American?
they are.
And then would they be in alliance with this other
So,
airline too?
so potentially,
yeah. Okay. So, because I pay $12,300 a month for my rent, my apartment rent. So can I use Bill, even though you said something's changing in 2 months?
I would
Can I still use them
100
for Alaska?
100% get
Yeah.
the Bilt card and put your
Okay.
rent on the card. No questions about it.
Yeah. Because after a year, I'd have enough to probably do a trip.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Easy.
Leaving money on the table, not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay.
And one thing I'll mention there is with Bilt, it's also a high limit personal credit card. And so when I'm helping
Really?
people optimize their profiles, I want to recommend them high limit cards to increase their collective limits. And so that's why you have to be so strategic on the personal cards you apply for, because it needs to be there on your profile for a specific reason. If you're going to go get a Sephora or a Cabela's credit card, retail credit card, that's a really bad account to have on your profile. You want to be strategic with your personal credit cards. And the Wells Fargo Bilt card is one I would recommend in general because it looks really good because it's issued by Wells Fargo, which is a tier 1 account. Also the Wells Fargo autograph journey, another good account to have on your profile. But yeah, the Bilt is an amazing card.
I got a question for you. Is there like a third party out there or like some sort of tech platform that allows you to, because as you get more and more credit cards and real estate mortgages, like, dude, I got so many freaking things of debt out there. I'm like, it's impossible to keep track of. And, Alex on the team, like she does a good job of like making sure all of our mortgages are paid on time. But dude, at this point now, I'm like, it's impossible to keep track of everything. So is there a platform out there where you can like keep track of all your debt payments that you gotta make every single month?
Ooh, in terms of the payments, that's a good question.
Because that would be nice to have a dashboard,
Yeah, no, I
something.
think there is. I think it's a Ward wallet or Wallet Flow.
Okay.
Looks at your payments, but I don't specifically use those to monitor the payments. I just manage it myself. But I've been using this app called Monarch Money, and like relatively similar to QuickBooks. Like I do my business bookkeeping on QuickBooks, which is absolutely great. If you don't already do monthly bookkeeping and looking at your P&L, definitely recommend doing that. But Monarch Money consolidates all of your personal credit cards into one place. So it doesn't monitor when your payment is due, but it shows all the transactions, and you can categorize certain things. Oh, I spent this much on travel, this much on, dining, personal dining, things like that. So it consolidates all into one place, which has been super helpful. It tracks how much, your income is, your expenses, how much you're saving. But it's a great app. I've been loving it.
So the Wheels Up Amex Travel, what the hell is that?
Yeah, so Wheels Up is a private jet membership, and American Express had an incredible partnership with Wheels Up. And essentially what Wheels Up is, it's a private jet membership where you book private jets yourself and, with your friends and things like that. But the reason I joined it is because if there's empty legs or hot deals, you can book them for only $500 and you get the whole jet for you and your friends. And American Express had this promo where instead of the $18,000 membership, it was a 40% discount. So it came out to about $10,000
a year.
Okay. And you could split it with 3 other people. So it was like $2,500 a pop for 4 people. Then you're a Wheels Up member, and then you can rip the hot deals for $500.
Really?
It's great.
So empty leg, let's just say from Scottsdale to Los Angeles, or Scottsdale to San Diego, you could jump on that for $500
all the time. And you can set alerts on all the different airports you want to be alerted when there's a hot deal. And usually you have to book it pretty quick, like within 30 minutes, like quicker the better, because other people might take it. But yeah, so that promo with Amex, unfortunately it ended, but they said they're going to partner with a new card. And so they haven't announced which card it's going to come out on, but that'll be something to pay attention to for listeners.
Is it like one private jet company, or it's like basically all these different jet companies that sign up for this, you can fly them?
I think it's a combination, because I think Wheels Up has their own jets, but there's other jets on it. So I think it's a combination.
Yeah, I was using a SetJet for a little while, and I was bummed because I just signed up, got my membership, and I'm like, dude, this is so cool. We took a trip out to Scottsdale and back. On the way back, like literally for $900, we had an entire private jet all to ourselves. And I was like, dude, this is the coolest thing. It was $99 a month for the membership. You pay about $900 a flight, and no one was really using it. So I was like, this is really nice. I'm gonna continue to use it till it goes out of business. And I remember having a conversation with Eli, the travel guy, Thank you for that intro, by
A
the
good
way.
friend.
He's a great dude. So shout out to Eli. But literally like 4 days after that conversation, SetJet sends me an email. They're like, hey, really sorry to announce this, but we're going out of business. And I'm like, fuck, dude,
Yeah,
I
it's
just
tough.
found something so cool, and now they're out of business.
So that one you booked, did you book it for a specific day and time?
I did, yeah. So
That's
they
incredible.
only have so many flights like per day. So typically, like from San Diego to Scottsdale, they had one flight a day. So you go out there in the afternoon, come back late afternoon, and so booked the trip. Away out there, there was literally 6 of us on the plane. On the way back, the stewardess is like, "Hey, you guys are going to be the only one on the flight today," and it was nice. Free drinks are all included, and luxurious. You know, it's not like some of these other semi-private ones where it's still kind of a corporate vibe where you like select a seat. This is like legit, really nice plush like leather seats and like total like executive style. It's really sick.
Wow.
But no more.
Yeah,
more
bummer. It's
SetJet.
no more. Bummer.
Yeah. So I'll have to check up the Wheels Up program if they're going to continue it or find some sort of workaround moving forward, and definitely check that out. Dude, I was, this is a little bit off topic, but I was having dinner the other night and literally just sitting in my living room. It was like a Monday night having dinner, and I look out my window and I see this like rocket. It's like the sunset. And I see this rocket just like launching right over San Diego Bay. I'm like, holy shit, that's freaking Elon Musk, SpaceX.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. I did a little like research, and I'm like, dude, this guy's legit doing like a $1.8 billion deal with the U.S. government, building spy satellites for the U.S. government. And I'm just like thinking in my head, I'm like, dude, like talk about just like the definition of visionary. I mean, this dude's freaking launching rockets out to space. I mean, just it makes you realize that there's levels to the game.
I was gonna say that there's definitely levels to the game. Yeah, it's super cool to see things like that. I remember watching on your story, and I remember the first time I saw that in person. I'm like, what is that? It
Yeah.
looks like a UFO. Like if you
Yeah.
don't know about it, you're like definitely pretty tripped out. But it's incredible. I mean, to launch those satellites into the Starlink network is just incredible. And it's a private company, and it's just incredible to see Elon Musk do that. It's such a great thing for humanity.
It does look like a UFO. Like the first time I saw it was probably like 3 years ago. And I was just like out to dinner here in Little Italy, and look up, I'm like, everyone's like, what the fuck is that? And it looks like a UFO, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, it makes you realize there's levels to the game. And I think with Elon, it's like, dude, talk about truest definition of visionary. I think that's the definition of it. That man.
Love that.
So yeah, dude, freaking we covered a lot here. Skydiving, freaking all your epic stuff, dude. So tell me, you're gonna go travel for like 2 months, and then what's the move after that?
Yeah. So after I travel for 2 months, I think I'm going to move to Utah.
Are you?
And I have this incredible vision. And recently it's become more and more clear on exactly what I want to do. And I think when your vision is crystal clear, it becomes so much easier to stay focused on exactly that and say no to anything that doesn't align with that specific vision. And basically the vision right now is to buy a dope piece of land and build an epic dream compound. It's a multi-year vision. And so I want to move out there, check the scene, start meeting some people, things like that, figure out where I want it to be. But, I grew up in Washington riding dirt bikes, hiking, snowboarding, adventurous stuff. And I want my kids to have a similar life and to have those toys and fun things to do. And I think Utah seems like a great state to do that. There's this one specific area that's on a lake. So you get a wakeboard boat in the summer. You got the wakeboard summer stuff. It's 30 minutes to a snowboard resort. So you got that. It's 30 minutes to skydiving, which I love. I want to get my pilot's license and have
nice.
the ability to just, pop over to California
Yeah.
pretty quick, things like that.
What kind of plane do you want to buy?
Bonanza looks pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think 6-seater.
I have my private pilot license from 2009.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I'm not current anymore. I just need to go do a biannual flight review, but I was current and I flew up until like end of 2015 because I used to do the air traffic control job. So they had a flying club at the facility I was working at up in LA Center. So there was like 12 guys that paid into this club, and none of them used the plane. So it was almost like having my own little plane. So I'd fly all over Vegas, Catalina Island, Tahoe, go snowboarding. It was sick. And then I moved down to San Diego end of 2015, and I just like, my priorities changed, they shifted. Now I have no interest in flying in terms of like being a pilot. It's what I found was I would fly less and less, and the less frequent I flew, the more dangerous it got. And I got myself into a couple of hairy situations. Almost ran out of fuel, and I realized I'm like, you know what? Now I just enjoy sitting in the back of the plane. Give me a drink and we're good. But that said, with everything that you're doing, bro, I can see you doing it. You should do it. And maybe when you're licensed, I'll go up with you.
That sounds incredible. And yeah, no, I think Utah, it seems like a great place. You have the good climate, the good, the 4 seasons. It's 70-degree weather, like at least 5 months of the year, which is incredible.
What city in Utah?
North, like Ogden-ish.
Ogden, okay.
I think like north of Salt Lake. I think there's some cool
Yeah.
stuff there. I've been a couple times in general, but I want to really check it out. But
You know who's building a compound up in Utah is Chris Crone.
Okay,
I
cool.
was actually up
Cool.
there at his spot. Parker, what city was that in Utah? We went up there with me. What is it? Provo?
Provo.
Provo.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in Provo. And he's building like a big ass compound in Provo. He's telling me all about it. I've seen some of his content on Instagram. I'm like, dude, I want to go tour that property when it's done.
Yeah,
But
nice.
that sounds pretty epic.
Post Malone also lives in Utah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
No, I think it's dope. I think there's a lot of good things there, and cost of living, cost of land is so significantly less expensive than here. It's crazy. And I want to move a little bit quicker, and I want to do. I really want to have the most epic compound, and I see myself doing that much quicker out there, and also just being closer to the mountains. Got the nice lakes, and there's a lot of good stuff over there.
When are you going to be in Venezuela? Because I want to come down for a weekend.
So
dates?
we'll be there for a week, mid-May,
Mid-May?
March. May, around May 20th.
Okay. I don't know if I can make May, but I'm definitely going to try to go down there, man. You inspired me on this podcast to go down there. I always thought I'm not going to go there for a while. People like to stay away, but the way you described it, and the more I thought about my personal journeys and traveling to some of these areas, I'm like, you know what, it makes sense. I'm sure there's some really badass areas of Venezuela.
Yeah.
And you would recommend just going to Caracas and staying there?
Yeah, it's kind of a bigger mission. Like you need to get a visa ahead of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never traveled anywhere to where I had to get like a legit visa.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's easier places to go.
How long does it take
I
to
only
get a visa
really
there?
go there to do the skydiving stuff.
Yeah.
So
You said there's more legit places to go or easier places
easier
to go?
places
Okay.
to go.
How long does it take to get
It
a
might
visa
be a little
to
too
Caracas?
too much BS.
Just
to
for a
go.
weekend?
Yeah.
Now, maybe I'll parlay it, though. Maybe I go Caracas and then, I've never been to Cartagena, but it's a little bit closer to Venezuela, or at least to Caracas.
I'd say do Colombia. It's just much easier because with Caracas you have to connect through somewhere. You got to get the visa. They pretty much interrogate you coming in if you're an American. And I already got through that once, so now it's less of a big deal. But it's not easy.
Okay, that's a lot. Well, we'll have to definitely catch up, man. And dude, safe travels, and dude, wish you nothing but the best on your adventures down there. I know you're gonna crush it. Continue inspiring. Where can the folks get in touch with you, brother?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Jack McCall, and my website's creditstacking.com, where I teach people on how to optimize credit. I teach them how to get large limits on business credit cards. So yeah, my Instagram, Jack McCall, creditstacking.com is where you can find me. Appreciate you guys.
There it is, man. Always
Thank
looking
you,
fly
Rich.
too, by the way. Looking fresh. Appreciate you coming down. Always dropping value. And I love it. So thank you. He's Jack McCall. I'm Rich Numbers. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.